On Milro, here's what I'll say for his style of play. Now, there are a lot of people that thought he played injured this year, though it was never confirmed. He never said it. No coaches ever said that he was playing injured. That was pure speculation by people. And it was by a lot of people, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people speculated on that.
I go back to, was it the South Carolina game, the run to the pylon?
No, it was the one a lot of people talked about in the South Carolina game was a sneak where I don't think he got in. I can't remember if it was third down, he got in or whatever. And one of the South Carolina players was pulling his leg, trying to pull him back off the pile.
No, I was talking about the sign that he was hurt. I thought in that game on a run to the pylon.
He looked gimpy.
Near side towards the student section, I think, towards that pylon. He just didn't seem to have the same speed that he had at times throughout the same burst.
So that led, the stuff like that led to a lot of speculation, Lance, that he was injured. But here's what I'll say about Jalen Milroe. For his style of play, the guy's incredibly durable. I mean, as much as he's asked to run and as much contact as he takes on running, I mean, the guy really never missed measurable time in Tuscaloosa because of injury. So I say that to say with his style of play, it scares the heck out of me that he's going to play in a bowl game because the guy runs a lot, which as a quarterback puts you in danger.
I don't know. Look, unless the plan is to come back to Tuscaloosa next year. And let me say this for the record. I think Jalen Milroe has the opportunity, if he was to come back, to be maybe the best best quarterback in all of college football. It might not work for Kalen DeBoer. And I go back to the open letter that was kind of sent to receivers earlier this week or late last week, whenever it was. It seemed like Alabama had kind of moved on.
Yep.
And I really believe that Ty Simpson was going to be that guy, and he still could be. I just think this is strange. Look, I would love to see a guy like Lincoln Riley go out and get Jalen Milroe in the portal and pay him $5 million.
Oh, yeah?
Because Jaden Maeva, who played pretty well in the last couple of weeks for USC, threw a couple of pick sixes against that Notre Dame secondary, but he is a poor man's Jalen Milroe. And I think Jalen Milroe in the right system could be absolutely outstanding. I just don't think the fit is still there in Tuscaloosa. I thought the leader in the clubhouse would be the NFL. If that is, in fact, the direction he would go, why would he play in this game at all?
That's my point. And that was why before the Iron Bowl, when I said I think the Iron Bowl would be his last snaps at Alabama unless they made the playoffs, is if you're going to the NFL, why do you risk? But I guess some people go to the Senior Bowl and play in the Senior Bowl and get the evaluation.
As James pointed out, now the Senior Bowl is a controlled environment too. You're very unlikely to get hit or hurt there. As James pointed out, Bryce Young played in a bowl game equally as meaningless and was a much higher draft pick than Jalen Milroe would be, which is 100% true.
I don't know if it was equally as meaningless. I mean, it was not for a championship, yes.
It was a Sugar Bowl against Kansas State.
It was a Sugar Bowl against Kansas State. It wasn't the Reliaquest. I mean, there's a little difference in the branding of the name.
Well,
in the big scheme of things.
Well, I just say if it's out of the playoff, it's equally meaningless.
But it was the Sugar Bowl as opposed to the Reliaquest Bowl.
To me, more importantly in that is Bryce Young knew where his stock was. Like, he wasn't going to fall any further down than number 2 overall. Like, I have no idea. And teams seem to reach, but I think there's only 4 teams that are in definite need of a quarterback right now going into next year in the NFL. And if you're not one of those 4, or even if you are one of those 4 teams, you're really going to take a flyer on Milroe at this point. I think he's going to be, at best, a second-round, third-round guy, and I think he can make more, obviously, guaranteed money coming back and going somewhere else.
Even after a pro day, private workouts, when they're able to get him, and he has a controlled passing environment, speaking of controlled environments, and he does the weights and the 40 and the shuttle and all that.
You're right. He's going to blow somebody away probably.
But that's kind of my point. If you take his skill set, take the Jalen Milroe skill set and just pretend like you can project it up here on the screen, right? I'm not saying it's the only thing he does well, but what do you think, how Madden does the ratings?
Yeah.
What's his 99?
His ability to run, deep ball.
Yeah, his ability to run and his speed. I mean, he's fast. He's a physical runner.
He has a quick burst.
Great arm.
He's got a great arm, but I'm saying his 99 is his ability to run. Now, I'm not saying it's all he can do. I'm not saying he's only a running quarterback, but I am saying when you lay out his Madden skill set, his ability to run is Lamar Jackson-like, which is as high a compliment as I could give anybody in the NFL, Lance, is that he runs like Lamar Jackson. It's not the same type of runner. But my point there is going to be, if Bryce Young had gotten hurt, that would have been bad. If Jalen Milroe, God forbid, and I'll hold my breath every time he's out in the open field, if he got a leg injury or something like that, I mean, that is a huge detriment because you don't get to go to the combine, you don't get to do the pro days, you don't get to show those teams this leg injury is not a big deal. I mean, I will hold my breath every time he's out in the open field.
Yeah, I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to, and I think you're just based on tone and going to agree with me. I'll believe it when he sees it.
I do too.
Yeah, I think now is the time you grab Michigan plus 11.5. Thank me later.
I'm just saying that as a captain, I'm going to play in the bowl game, no opt-out. And then as we get closer and closer to the game, if I have made a decision about my future, then I can, pull a hamstring or get there in Tampa and all of a sudden I can play a drive and then, protect myself and then not play, turn it over to Ty Simpson. I'll see how it plays out.
I mean, if you're Ty Simpson, if you are representing Ty Simpson today and you hear this news, got to be on the phone with your client. And, boy, it sounds so weird.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And you got to be talking to him like, is Jalen Milroe coming back next year? If Jalen Milroe is coming back next year, there is no way Ty Simpson's coming back next year.
Is Mason Graham playing? He's declared.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so, but he has declared.
He's declared.
He's a top 10 guy locked in.
Oh, yeah. He's maybe top 5. Now, if Mason Graham's not playing,
yeah,
I think more about it. But if Mason Graham's playing, that guy is a disruptor.
Yeah, it's he's already declared. He's already said he's leaving.
Yeah, he's definitely leaving. I just didn't know if he was going to play one more game before he goes.
EG will have later on our platform Milro explaining why he's playing in the Reliaquest Bowl. I would bet it's because I'm a captain. We don't opt out. Blah blah blah.
Okay,
blah.
if you
I'd
were
like to say Tyler Booker, who picked up Birmingham Touchdown Club awards last night here in Birmingham, hanging out with Little T's mom. I wonder if he's going to play in this. He's a first-round draft pick.
I don't know, for his love for the program, possibly, and that might be one of the reasons Milroe ends up playing. But if we went around real quick, if we all had to, if you're representing, if you are the voice that he listens to, how would you sell Jalen Milroe moving forward this next month and this next year for his future?
I don't think the NFL worries about you not playing in bowl games.
I don't think
there are a lot of people that will say, they don't want to see you quit on your team. I think the NFL, I don't think they pay attention to that. I think they know what these bowl games are.
Yep.
I think the NFL, I think, looks at that as like, this is a guy that realizes his value and will go to lengths to protect his value. When I'm paying him his value, he's going to play for me.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think the NFL gets wound up on these guys tapping out. A lot of fans like to say that because it makes them feel better and it justifies them thinking guys should play in bowl games.
So how would you advise him?
I would advise him the way the NFL is advising him, and I don't know how the NFL is advising him.
I would tell you this, Brownie and LT. I think I would need more information. I need to know, and we should ask somebody this question because there are certain players that blow you away, and you hear NFL people talk about this. When we got in a room with them, not just the interview, but when they got on the whiteboard, they blew me away on their football IQ, their football knowledge. And when NFL people watch Jalen Milroe make reads in the progression of the passing game, where is his evaluation there? Because I think his arm is good enough. His legs obviously are good enough to be elite in the NFL. His durability is good enough. His leadership, obviously, playing in the bowl game is good enough. There seems to be nothing that's not good enough. The only thing that would maybe prevent him from being good is does he read progressions and defenses the way you have to at the uber elite level of football?
You're not going to show that in a bowl game. I mean, they're not going to watch the bowl game and say, this guy
This is going to be in the meetings. And look, to me, AR-15, Anthony Richardson, was taken to the top 5, and he doesn't have the experience of Jalen Milroe. He couldn't get that second, third read down, and I still think Anthony Richardson is going to be really good. All it takes is one coach to fall in love with you. I mean, it's pretty much Sean Payton and Bo Nix. That is the guy that fits in my system. I can make him really good. They see his upside in Jalen Milroe's. Somebody's going to be like, I can make him play like this in every game. That is the ego of some of these coaches. I was advising him, I'd say, let's see what the NFL says as far as the draft grade. Let's see really where Alabama is. Is Kalen DeBoer, want you really are you really not a fit in the system? If you're not, that's fine. What can we get in the portal for you? If you're going to be a second or a third round guy, but we can go out, get you in a premier program situation and get you $4 or $5 million, that's going to be more money than you're making over the next couple of years as a third round draft selection.
The mission right now is to complete the season. We have one more mission ahead, which is attacking Michigan, and that's the whole thought process right now. Being our absolute best, we can take care of our business when it goes to playing in Tampa. So it's all about going 1-0, preparing the right way, and so that's my focus is winning this game, preparing the right way, take care of my body so we can be our best us.
So you will be playing?
I will be playing.
Yeah, there's EG. I will be playing.
Yep.
His answer to her.
Kevin points out to me, and this is a great point. I think this was the situation with Bryce Young too, that the university was able by legally, I think now, right,
Insurance policy
to help pay for the insurance policy.
Yeah, but I don't know what that policy is. I mean, what do you? I mean,
here's another thing to look at.
I think Bryce's may have been $10 million.
Yeah, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to your NFL earnings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something though. It's not nothing.
It doesn't go away. I mean,
Yeah,
the NFL
right.
possibilities, barring a Joe
You hope
Theismann
not.
moment.
Yeah, I mean, you hope you got
that's an investment. Like, Alabama at that point probably did want to win a New Year's Six. How important is this game for Alabama? And more importantly, really, if Kalen DeBoer is set, this is not my style of quarterback, do you not want Ty Simpson to come in and get all these first-team reps and then have an opportunity to play against a really good defense in Michigan?
You can do a lot of that in practice. I mean, that is what coaches always talk about is the value of bowl season is you get all these extra practices. And I would almost guarantee you Ty Simpson will get some ones. Now, he already does. I mean, he's your backup, so he's going to get some reps with the ones anyway, but I bet he gets increased reps with the ones. So I think you'll already do that in practice. And much like they did with Bryce Young, you would hope the game is in hand enough. You could take Jalen Milroe out, let the Alabama fans show their appreciation for him, and let Ty Simpson finish the game the way Milroe did replacing Bryce Young in the game against Kansas State a few years back. So that would be your hope. But
I'm gonna bring this up, Brownie.
Okay.
And I don't know this to be true. So I'm saying that up front. So don't send this out, Little T. This is just an observation.
This is not for Little T.
This is not a Jim is saying this, but we had heard that going into this upcoming season, and I'm not speaking Alabama specific, but around college football because of the opt-outs, that there would be some NIL money. Some of your NIL money would be tied to you finishing the season, playing in the postseason, playing bowl games. I don't, and again, I'm not saying this is in the Milro situation. I'm not saying this is anybody's situation. I'm just saying we've heard that discussion before that part of our NIL agreement is that you complete the season with a team. You go play bowl games.
Yeah, I think some of that depends on how good you are and what agent you're using. Like, a lesser level player probably has to agree to that deal if you've got leverage.
QB1 wouldn't have to do that.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, do you think Milroe had leverage
absolutely.
between
With
the
the
end
new
of last
coach?
season and the start of this season? Nick Saban had just left.
All the leverage.
I mean, he had all the leverage in the world, right? Milroe would have been a hot prospect in the transfer portal.
Oh, would be right now.
Yeah, he
would. Miami would have taken him in front of Cam Ward.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I think they would have, Lance. I think just having watched a guy take a team to the college football playoff, it would have been hard to go Cam Ward. I'm not saying Milroe's the better quarterback. I'm just saying I think Miami would have taken him in front of Cam Ward. If you had given Cristobal the choice of Milroe or Cam Ward, I think they'd have gone Milroe.
I think they would have gone Cam Ward, but who knows?
But the fact that it's close shows you everything because Cam Ward was the biggest prize in the transfer.
Yeah,
portal.
with all that said, they could have incentives in their contracts now, like for every January win, you get another $100,000. Now, the problem is against Michigan, it's December 31st.
That's true. We're going to need an asterisk there.
Yeah.
A good agent would have called that ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean,
the agent would have said, we don't need to worry about the Reliaquest Bowl. This is Alabama football we're talking about.
Is Kalen DeBoer too nice to tell Milroe, pack your bags?
I don't think Kalen DeBoer, I don't think he would view this game as that critical for Ty
I'm not
Simpson.
talking about this one game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
You're talking about for next year. Okay,
Well,
I'm sorry.
and I
I'm
do
sorry.
think that this is attached to next year a little bit. Like, this is the second season now. This game really means nothing. It is about, okay, we're getting everything set. We're getting this roster set in year two the exact way we want it. Why are you even, I hate to say wasting time, but why would Milroe be playing if he's not the future? Unless he really, this is one thing we don't talk about enough. Kid loves football. Maybe he's like, dude, I love this program. I know this is my last time to ever suit up.
What a great
for
attitude
Alabama.
that would be. Yeah.
And maybe that's what's going on behind the scenes. But
You
if that's
celebrate
not
that kind of stuff.
You do.
Celebrate that
but
kind
if
of
that's
stuff,
not going on, and it's like all of these unknowns, and if you're not comfortable with the situation, I don't know why you don't have the tough conversation and move forward.